Fear is a powerful feeling. It has the capability to manipulate and change someone's views on a person entirely. When a person feels fear, it produces a reaction like no other emotion can. Fear can make someone overly cautious and misjudge people, prevent people from pursuing the truth behind their fear, and blind people to the potential goodness in their fear of someone. Misplaced fear can shape people's personal views of someone in the wrong way. Through multiple texts, including The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, The Crucible by Arthur Miller, Why I Wrote the Crucible by John Steinbeck, the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, and The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, this will be shown.
The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell gives the ideas on how information can be spread out and how it really affects people in the slightest ways. Fear, for an example, can have an effect on people like nothing else. Fear can cause one to view things in a different light, but all information will pass through one person, and that person will spread it to another, and the information will gradually grow and more people will find out, just how the connector was able to spread out information in the tipping point. So during 1950, when McCarthy first started to accuse people of being a communist, he would have been a connector for the people whom were viewing the false information. McCarthyism also has a connection to how in the late 60s, when Sesame Street had its ways to get children's attention. Just by altering the songs and characters in the show, the creators were able to make a show more sticky, and it became a sensation for children. So when McCarthy decided to use the names of famous actors and high government officials, he became a lot more sticky with the people. But the stickiness wasn't the same as how the Sesame Street had affected American youth. McCarthy caused people to have fear amongst everyone and have no trust in anyone.
The next text that will be examined is The Crucible. In the play The Crucible by Arthur Miller, fear plays a big factor in the views of the people in the town. The religious town of Salem develops an uncontrollable fear of the devil and anything evil. When a young girl, Abigail Williams, begins to spread rumors about witches and people being controlled by the devil, everyone starts letting their fear control them. The fear even reaches the judges and the more powerful people in the town that are making the decisions. As they start to fear being controlled by the devil themselves, they make rash decisions. They begin to take the accused to trial, and many are put to death one way or another. The fear of the devil pushed these people to put many innocent people to death, all because they were scared. Their initial judgment was wrong, and the result was not pretty. In a trial scene in the play, it is stated, "The devil lives on such confidences. Without confidences, there would be no conspiracy." The fear that manipulates the town's decisions of putting these innocent people to death is what is fueling the devil in this situation. Without the irrational fear of witches, no one would have been put to death. But the quick misjudgment of the situation led to the tragedy in the town of Salem. The next text is Why I Wrote the Crucible.
After Arthur Miller's hit play The Crucible, he was getting backlash from many due to the communist-type propaganda in the play. Miller had written a play to show the people of America that communist ideas are mass hysteria, and showing how fear can affect a community so large. Miller decided to base his main character, Abby, on a present figure in the politics in the current time period, Joseph McCarthy. Both of these people had a strong will and a tendency to lie. So, as Abby was lying about people being the devil in Salem, McCarthy was getting people locked up for being communists, spies, or enforcers in the United States. Both resulting in fear, both Abby and McCarthy used fear in their advantage. Fear is an underestimated emotion in the body. It causes one to go in a fight or flight mode and takes over your body. So as long as Miller was able to have Abby from The Crucible create fear in the people of Salem, she was able to control everything, as well as how McCarthy was able to create fear in the hearts of American citizens.
The next text to be examined is the Harry Potter series. Throughout the Harry Potter series, fear is a consistent factor. In every book, someone's actions or thoughts seem to be manipulated or warped by fear. Many times, it is warranted fear, such as the fear the wizarding world has for Voldemort, but not always. In a world of terror, it is hard to accurately place fear on certain things, and this can change the opinions of someone greatly. One example of this is in the third book, The Prisoner of Azkaban. The whole book, everyone is on the lookout for the murderer Sirius Black. Harry is tormented by the fear that Sirius is coming to kill him. He lets it keep him from seeing Sirius Black as the person he really is. At the end of the book, Harry finally comes face to face with Sirius. As Harry learns the whole story, he is told Sirius is actually his godfather and was never a person to be scared of, but to be considered a friend. Another example is in the 5th book, The Order of the Phoenix. The Minister of Magic starts printing slander of Harry and Dumbledore after they claim Voldemort has returned. The minister believes Dumbledore is only doing this to take his job and is scared at this possibility. When Harry is questioning the minister's motives, Lupin tells him, "Fudge isn't in his right mind. It's been twisted and warped by fear. Now, fear makes people do terrible things, Harry." The minister has allowed his fear to force him to the quick conclusion of Dumbledore gunning for his job, when in reality, Dumbledore is just protecting the wizarding world. The rash decision of the minister leads to the wrongful slander of Dumbledore and Harry that is a nuisance to their right and just cause the rest of the book. The next text is The Great Gatsby.
Throughout the book, The Great Gatsby, written by F. Scott Fitzgerald, the recurring theme of fear was present. Jay Gatsby was a young, wealthy businessman with a castle of a house and was a prominent figure in that city. But what Fitzgerald tried to hide was how well Gatsby and fear went together. Ever since Jay Gatsby was a young boy, he wanted to be wealthy and with his dream girl. But that fear of that not coming true was so much for Gatsby, so he got lucky saving a powerful businessman. This made him a millionaire that he is today, but the fear was present later in the book also. When Jay saw Daisy in his house, he feared losing her again. But as the novel went on, Gatsby and Daisy started a relationship, which Gatsby had been waiting for an extensive amount of time. But as Tom started to see what was happening, both men became very jealous of each other. As we all know, Daisy went back to her husband and family, but Gatsby feared losing her again. Gatsby chose to hide outside of her house so that she could come out if anything had happened, and that was his fear.
The power of fear is easy to underestimate. Many don't see the true manipulative effects it's had on them until after it's far too late. It takes over the mind of the person experiencing this feeling and leads to nothing but trouble. From forcing rash judgments, stopping people from pursuing the truth, and blinding people from the possible good in whatever they fear, creates complex situations that never end well. The text provides numerous examples of just how powerful fear can be. Fear is something that has to be looked in the face. If it is allowed to control any person, the situation can spiral out of hand and lead to a worse ending than what may have happened if the fear was controlled.